Ivy Joy Clarice H. Jokno from BS Hospitality Management, Section 1103. I am here today to discuss about the topic which is eliminating risk and hazard in hospitality industry. The first one, I will discuss the meaning of risk and hazard, while the second one, I will discuss the common safety hazard in hospitality industry, and the last one, I will discuss my own opinion on how to eliminate risk and hazard in our hospitality industry here in our country.
What is a hazard? Something with the potential to cause harm. The meaning of the word hazard can be confusing. Often, dictionaries do not give specific definitions or combine it with the term risk. For example, one dictionary defines hazard as a danger or risk, which helps explain why many people use the terms interchangeably. And the most common definition when talking about workplace, health, and safety is: a hazard is any source of potential damage, harm, or adverse health effects on something or someone, for example, to people as health effects, to organization as property or equipment losses, or to the environment. A hazard is any source of potential damage, harm, or adverse health effects on something or someone. For example, to people as health effects, to organization as property or equipment losses, or to the environment. Some example of hazard. I give 3 examples of hazard. The first one is in the kitchen, the second one is on banana boat, and the third one are sign. What is risk? Chance of harm being caused. Risk is the chance or probability that a person will be harmed or experience an adverse health effect if exposed to hazard. It may also apply to situations with property or equipment loss or harmful effects on the environment. Risks are expressed as a probability or likelihood of developing a disease or getting injured. Factors that influence the degree or likelihood of risk are the nature of the exposure, how much a person is exposed to hazardous stream or condition, how death is exposed, and the severity of the effect. For example, one substance may cause skin cancer while another may cause skin irritation. Cancer is a much more serious effect than irritation. Some example of risk. I give 3 examples. The first one is a man who is split on the floor. The second one is a different risk that maybe it happened with you. And the third one is a person who is in danger. And then this pictures is showing a different sign of risk and hazard. Common safety hazards in the hospitality industry. The consequences of the coronavirus on the hospitality industry have been particularly hard-hitting. Now lockdown has eased. Many food business and hotels have reopened and are beginning to serve customers so they can be up running for the summer months ahead. Even before the pandemic, hotels, pubs, and restaurants were familiar with managing the common everyday health and safety risks to their employees and customers. Controlling this risk is part of working within this industry. We take a brief look at some of the most common safety hazards for those that work in the hospitality industry. The first one is slip, trips, and falls. Most common causes of injury in this industry, particularly among chefs and waiting staff, food spillages, wet floors, and trip hazard all contribute to this. Black walkways and waiting staff rushing to serve tables can all act as a hazard. These risks must be managed to help reduce this type of accident. Good housekeeping, appropriate footwear, cleaning up seals, and good lighting are all practical measures which can be taken to avoid it. Preventing slips, trips, and falls. There are some pictures that we need to do for us to prevent this kind of situation. Injury from incorrect manual handling. For example, chefs, cleaners, and waiting staff need to understand how to minimize the health risks associated with manual handling. Correct lifting and carrying techniques should be followed, along with using mechanical aids where possible to move heavy loads. There are some examples on how are good to do for us to be safe and not injured by doing this kind of job. The second one is fires. Kitchen pose a greater risk of fire due to the use of gas, snake flames, and other flammable substances. Most fires are avoidable, so make sure staff are prepared and follow procedures which will help prevent a fire in the first place. Fire awareness is vital. There's some examples of signs that we need to use for us to prevent having a fire in our area, a restaurant. The third one is mental ill health. It is important to recognize mental health on an equal footing with physical health. Mental health awareness and well-being is thankfully being taken more seriously in the workplace, and businesses are recognizing the importance of supporting employees in this area. This is some examples of 10 ways to look after your mental health. And what is a mental illness? The first one is thinks, feels.
There are so many things or ways to do on how to prevent risk and hazard in the hospitality industry. And on my own opinion, the first one is for the customers and the managers of one restaurant, they need to make a sign or board for their customers for them to be safe. Dahil hindi naman natin alam na sa pagiging hindi natin maingat para sa kanila ay magdulot ito sa kanila ng isang kapamahakan na alam naman natin na tayo yung mapapagalitan or masisisi dahil hindi tayo nag-ingat para sa kanila. We need to be careful on what we have doing. Kailangan natin silang pangalagaan. Bilang isang manager, alam mo dapat kung ano yung mga dapat mong gawin or dapat mong isipin kung ano man ang nangyayari sa loob ng iyong restaurant dahil ikaw yung kauna-unahang sasagot or magsosolusyon sa mga problemang nangyayari. While the second one is for the customers. They need to be careful because they might be in danger if they did not what they have doing. Kailangan mo ingatan ang sarili mo para hindi ka mapahamak. Dahil minsan, sa pagmamadali or hindi natin pagtingin sa mga dinaraanan natin, nagdudulot ito sa atin ng isang kapamahakan na hindi natin inaasahan. And the last one is for the people, for them to be responsible on what they have doing every day. For example, when one person is walking on the street and they eat a banana, then he or she throw the banana bowl on the wrong area so that pwede yung magresulta ng isang disgrasya sa kung sino man yung dadaan sa daan na yun na pinagtapunan niya. So, we need to be careful or responsible on what we have doing. We need to think the safety of the others. We don't have to think our own safety. Kailangan din natin isipin ang kapakanan ng iba. Dahil ito ang isa sa mga nagiging resulta ng pagkakaroon ng maayos at mahusay na industriya at hindi nagkakaroon ng anumang kapamahakan katulad ng risk and hazard. And I also think that the staff or chefs in some restaurants are also need to be careful on what they have doing. They need to practice. Kailangan nilang magproseso ng maayos ang kanilang mga ginagawa dahil may mga posibleng mangyari sa atin na hindi natin inaasahan nang dahil lang sa isang hindi pag-iingat. So, we need to be more specific or knowledgeable on what we have doing. Dahil bilang isang estudyante ng hospitality management, we need to be study more for us to have a knowledge. And isa ito sa mga magdadala sa atin sa maayos at mabuting paggawa sa industriyang ito.